We're live.
Wonderful.
Live with a dear friend of mine. I'm gonna get
Look
comfy.
at that.
Andrew, how are you, brother?
I'm good. How are you doing, Brandon?
I am great, man. I'm great. I brought you in because you're the most inspirational man I've ever met in my entire life.
I don't know about that.
I think you're pretty solid. We'll get some folks in here. I always pull it up on my phone. You can do the same thing if you want, but I pull it up that way you can watch and read the comments and all that good jazz if you like.
Wonderful.
Pal, I got it. So, what's going on? How was the drive in? Couple hours, yeah?
It was good. Yeah, a couple hour drive.
Ugh.
Wonderful.
How long? Like 2?
2 hours and 20 minutes.
Woo!
Not too bad. Not too bad.
Any big plans for the new year?
Oh, I think I'm going to take the old lady out. We're going to maybe go on a little adventure trip.
Nice. Is she excited?
I believe that she is excited. She planned this out.
Oh, she did. Nice.
Yes.
You're like, I'm not doing your stupid podcast. She's like, maybe you should go do Brandon's podcast.
Oh, yes.
So, man, before we get started, well, let's just talk a little bit about you. What do you do? What you got in the works, man? What's up?
I have been in the works. You know, it's convenient that it's the new year. You know,
Yeah.
everybody always gets like hyped for the new year and whatnot.
I hate it, dude. I hate it.
It's to me, it's such an offbeat idea.
Yes.
You know, if you're hyped, you should be hyped 24/7.
All the time. Yep.
You know, it's not a stop and go grind. It's a 100% all the time, everything you got grind, especially if you want to make things happen in your life.
Yeah.
And so you'll see all the posts on Facebook and whatnot. You know, I stay pretty low key generally.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've had this stuff in the works for 5 years now. You know, I was a correctional officer for 3.5 years, and that was awful. Let me tell you that. That was an experience. And that really did it in. You know, I had really reached the pinnacle of, you know, the money that you could make without a college degree or anything like that. I think my first year I made $65,000. And it wasn't, I was not satisfied with it. You know, I knew that I had something deeper inside myself that I wanted to pull out by myself. I didn't want anything in the environment help me out or working for the man or anything like that. And so a lot has just changed over the last 5 years. And, you know, I kind of had my my New Year's resolution 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I just stuck with it.
Yep.
You know?
Holla. Yes.
So what about you? You got some big things going too.
Man, things this last year have been insane. Absolutely insane. I watched a recap video actually just before I had a business development meeting with this company, Logan Leaf. Shameless plug. Shout out to you, Logan Leaf. But I had a business development meeting with them. And I was on the phone for like the last hour right before you got here. But right before I got on the phone with them, I watched my 2018 recap video, and I was like, you know, so that was the year before, and I'm going over like, oh yeah, you know, we did a lot, and I'm watching it, and I was like, dude, you didn't do anything. Like, you didn't do anything. You didn't even scratch the surface. And I hope that I feel that way at this time next year. And all that, the fluff of like new year, new me, you know, dude, I hate that shit. I hate that. I hate it.
Well, it's the same way with people getting in the gym.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to do anything, you got to stick with it.
Just do it.
You know,
man.
it's consistency. It's the one thing that I've learned throughout anything. If you want to, you know, be a game changer, you really have to be consistently like driven, like everything you got. Like that's my business motto is everything you got.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'll go into the stories of where I came from as we go on, but what's more about this company that you just made this deal with?
So actually they just sent me a message right there. So Logan Leaf is actually a CBD company, and I've been a big advocate of CBD products for a long time. But and before I lose this, you can go to Logan Leaf. It's 15. If you get 15% off, basically, and that will be until March. I lost it, March something. I'll pull it back up before the end. But so if you go to loganleaf.com, you can use the promo code Brandon, and it'll get you 15% off. But what they do is it's like a legit CBD company. They don't like, more often than not, if you ever buy CBD products, it's usually rebranded shit. Like if you get it from a gas station or whatever, it's usually it's pretty shoddy at best. But their stuff's all like legit. And now we're working out this deal to where people can use my promo code, go there, and it's good for them, it's good for me. And I think that I have the audience that would be interested in something like that, to where I can actually bring real value to the table. And on top of that, I'm trying to push them for this giveaway. Like,
Nice.
So part of my like one thing that I want to improve on this podcast is I want to do a giveaway every month. So I did one, and I gave away a bunch of Yetis or whatever, and it was pretty successful, given it was the first, like the first thing that I ever gave away. But I'm working on this deal now with BP, and I'm hoping for January, but I want to give away $200 or so in gas cards, just to people that need them or whatever,
Right.
randomly pick, And so now for February, they have these little espresso shot things. And I don't know if it's like a K-cup or what, but I want to give away like 100 of those.
That would be killer.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. But that's Logan Leaf. And so far, man, working with them, we've been going back and forth for about a month or so, and they've been really good, easy to talk to, easy to deal with. They know all the shit that I do. And like, they're just like, no, we like you. So we just want to work. I'm like, oh, okay.
Right.
Cool.
I mean, it's interesting how a positive attitude and just the right format in your life can really change things, you know? And that's what people, I really just don't think they understand, that it's not the accomplishment, it's not the end result that's important. It's the journey, it's the process of building yourself and making those friendships and whatnot along the way that really determine who you are and whatnot.
Yeah.
And the legacy that you're gonna, leave behind. I've got some exciting things, coming up. I've got a very exciting thing to start off my new year.
Yeah.
And I've been working on that tirelessly
I do want to talk about
3 months.
If we can.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's all ready to go. It's all good. And, my story is quite interesting. It's not the average entrepreneur, kind of deal. It's I've done this out of will.
Yeah.
Pure will.
Force it.
And, I've had nothing helping me along the way. I've actually messed up way more than I have ever succeeded. And those mess ups really led me and guided me into who I was, and the way I articulate myself, the way I converse with people, that I make them feel like they are something special. And it's one of my gifts.
Yeah.
And, that's an important thing to always remember, is that every one of your audience has a gift.
Yeah.
They have something they're extraordinary at. And if they're not doubling down on that gift, man, they're losing out on countless opportunities.
Yeah. I just watched this keynote. Do you know who Casey Neistat is?
No.
Well, he was a keynote speaker for this thing, and this is crazy on how much I relate to it. Maybe you will too. But he was talking about this thing that he called the Tarzan effect.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever heard of that?
No,
I haven't either. So I was listening to what he was saying, and it really made a lot of sense. So the Tarzan effect is where essentially you are at one side of the jungle, right? And you want to get to the other side. Well, the only thing that you can really do to get there is you grab the vine, right? And this vine isn't going to get you there necessarily, because it's not near long enough. And in fact, maybe you miss your swing and you actually end up way over here doing something completely different that you didn't think you're not going to be maybe completely content with this. Isn't your end goal, but it might just get you incrementally closer.
Right.
And so I'm watching this and I'm listening to what he's saying, and it like directly applies to me. And so like when I left the day job, we talked then, and I did that, and I felt like I was at the edge. I was at the cliff, and I was like, okay, well now I want to get over to here. Like, this is my goal. It's my end goal over here. And what can I do to get there? And you just grab a vine, right? And you swing. And where does it take you? Well, for me, for a little while, it was like web development, which was a little closer to what I was doing then. And it was enough to financially sustain my lifestyle to get me to be able to do the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, okay, you know, and then I landed there, and now I'm on this branch, and I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting until the next thing comes. And then you grab that vine and you swing out, and then it might be something different. Then it might be making these like commercials, you know, I was making the commercials for other people. And it's a little closer because like I like doing the video stuff. That's all right. And I go, okay, this is taking care of it. And then the podcast vine swings in, and I'm grabbing a hold of that. And, you know, I'm no pro. I'm still new to the game in a lot of areas, but that was one thing that I was like, man, that is insanely true to my life.
But, you know, the most important aspect of that is being prepared for that vine to swing at you.
Yeah.
You know, getting ready to grab hold, because that's the thing about success. It's not a freaking straight road.
Right.
You know, you've got to go here to get to there, to get over there and whatnot. And, you know, that's happened to me and my business partner countlessly throughout our entire journey. I mean, I've been best friends with him for 15 years, and we started everything together. Like I said, I mean, I guess I can dive in and kind of go from the beginning. You know, it's either, let me just say this, I'm either covered in mud head to toe, or I'm dressed to the nine now.
Right.
There's no in between. I'll wear my workout clothes, dressed to the nine, covered in mud.
Yeah.
I have no off switch anymore. And it's almost maddening, though, to not have an off switch, because there's a lot of times where I want to switch off.
Yeah.
You know, it gets very stressful to where I can't just be an average person anymore, because my brain doesn't work that way anymore. I've trained everything in my body for success. And so it can get very, you know, tiresome. And, you know, that's where you're bringing in CBD and stuff like that, you know, any outlet that we can get to just calm that way, because if we're too high strung, that branch might swing in too.
Right.
And you might miss that chance, that opportunity to swing somewhere else to get further in your path. And so it's really about a balance in life. That's what I'm finding currently, is trying to balance all this out, because I'm conjuring things that not a lot of average people that I see conjure, you know, and you're doing the exact same thing. And it's saying, I'm not going to work a 5 to 9.
Right.
I'm going to work whatever I want to work.
Yeah.
And, you know, that freedom and stuff, people get hitched on that too, because they're like, man, I can do whatever I want. That's the dream. No, it's 100 times harder than where I wish I could go back to a 5. You know, 5. Well, I don't really wish it,
but
it's a
you
nice
romanticize
thought.
it a little bit. Yeah.
It's like, man, my life would be so easier if I would have just stayed at the prison. I probably could be a sergeant right now. Like, and then I think about it, I'm like, no, I would have been miserable.
Oh, yeah. Just trudging through those swamps every day.
No way.
Misery.
And so I really just try to hone my positivity, because I haven't always been positive either. Like, starting this road, like, was just a cascade of depression, anxiety. Like, you know, I don't like to talk about it much, but I was like highly suicidal when I first took this leap, because people don't understand, and it's very important for people to understand what they're getting into. I don't want to come on here and be like, every one of you quit your jobs, go do something great, because it's not for everyone.
Absolutely
not. Not everyone's going to survive that leap. And when I leaped, you know, my dad was retired from the state. You know, he was a correctional officer. He went to be a parole agent. And he was a counselor at one point at the prison. He was in college for 17 years on the state. You know, he has got 2 master's degrees, and super impressive. And but his way of thinking is, you know, safety. He did all that hard work that I'm doing, and he just put it into one basket and said, this is it.
This is it. Yep.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And I hope nobody takes me wrong. There's nothing wrong with that. If you are passionate, if you feel sound, if you feel good and you're happy, that's the main part. Are you happy?
Yeah.
I was not happy. I wanted to test myself to the max because I started out a loser.
Yeah, me too.
A major loser at that. You know, I think I was like voted least likely to succeed.
I didn't even get to go to that in my high school. I was
dropped
expelled.
out. You know, that's another thing. I dropped out, and by the grace of my parents, they got me to go to an alternative high school, and I got my diploma. You know, I didn't get a GED. They were like, no, you're getting a diploma.
Yeah.
And I just said, okay, thank God I went along with that. And because I was bullheaded. I had to do things my own way.
Me too, man.
And that was a sad part in my life because I had so many people, you know, come to me, you are so talented, you are so smart, and you're wasting it.
Yep.
And so my message today in particular isn't for the average 9 to 5 person or anything. My message is to the person that's hooked on drugs, to the person that was, you know, bullied in high school, or that, you know, felt like a loser, felt like they can't ever do anything. My message is to say, that's bull. Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
Hell yeah.
You know, that's bullshit. You
Right.
can do something. You can do anything you want. I've done it twice now, 2 companies.
Yeah.
You know, I had nothing, no dollars. I got somebody to believe in me.
Yep.
And I worked my ass off.
Yep.
That's how I succeeded. And luckily, I was smart enough to formulate a pact with my best friend. Now, me, I'm not impressive. My best friend, my business partner, he's impressive. He blows people out of the water. He makes people like this big at all times. And I was smart enough to make alliances with people that were way better than me at what I did. They believed in me, though.
Yeah.
He believed in me that I would be great. And that's why, hell, we've been like best of best friends for 15 years because nobody fought as hard as we did.
Yeah.
We knew we had greatness in us. When I first met him, it was at Maverick Steakhouse. We were dish boys. And I was like, I literally went to him and I was like, you're going to be my best friend. And he looked at me and he was like, you're out of your fucking mind. Get out of here. Push on. And I was persistent. For some reason, it clicked. And I was like, this is destiny. This is supposed to be like uniting of powers, you know, nerds, you know, fight on, do whatever, that crap. And it worked. And I led him to every job. And here's the thing. Every time I led him to a new job, he'd outperform me. He'd make me look like dog shit every time. And that's just who he is, though. I used to call him the gazelle because like once his feet touch, it's gone. He's off. He's going maximum potential. And that was great for me because it was a constant challenge at all times to grow and be better and learn. And, you know, my shortcomings with the way I managed money, or because I mean, he's on point. Like he's had $20,000 in the bank, just savings, just working a average job. That's what he does. And he was a blessing for sure. You know, I don't know where I'd be if I hadn't become friends with him. And luckily, we're going on all these journeys and whatnot. And we're starting our second business. It's coming up. It's a slot parlor. It's a little bit of a, you know, what's that? It's basically our second source of income that we don't necessarily have to be overly involved in. And that's an important part in
people
business.
call passive income.
Passive, yeah.
Yeah,
MSIs. And it's, if you want to grow and you want to be in business, you have to get multiple sources of income.
You definitely do, yeah.
It is super important because if you have your bread and butter, you need something fueling that.
Yeah.
Luckily, in my field, we do underground work. So we put in all the fiber optics and all that stuff in. And we are the source of that business. You know, we don't have to sell an item or whatnot. We're selling ourselves.
Right.
You know, we go in, we do the work, we get stuff done. But that is very difficult to maintain because it can wear on you. If you want to be truly successful, you have to bridge out into areas that you are uncomfortable in, and you have to grow. And that's what just one day I was like, I like slots. So I was like, I've put a lot of money in these slots.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that money back.
Yeah.
So I said, Jeff, we're going to open a slot parlor. He was like, what? I was like, that's our next thing. We're doing this. I got our investor on board, and we've got the S Corp ready to go. And we are now about to launch Legacy Slots.
Nice. Hollow Legacy Slots.
And, I'm very excited about it. And I know everybody else is very excited about it. And, I'm doing things that nobody thought I could do. And that's a great feeling. If you are out there and you don't feel adequate and you're like, nope, nobody's believing in me, fuck their belief.
Yep.
Go make your own belief.
Yep.
Go have power within yourself, because the minute that you start over succeeding and you start climbing above those people that doubted you, it's the best feeling in the world.
It's weird for me. One, I fight two demons on this. It drives me it pisses me off so bad. I get people that'll tell me I don't work. It's like, whatever. I understand it. I get it. You see the videos of me screwing around with my friends, waking up sometimes 9, 10 o'clock in the morning or whatever, late, typically. And that shit, I understand. I get where they see that. Or maybe a lot of times too, this primarily is a pretty hardworking physically. I mean, everyone that's around here is more often than not a laborer of some kind. And so when they see me working hard on the computer, they're like, well, I wish I could work hard on the computer. Well, what they don't understand is that it's like mentally exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, I might get up at 11 some days, but I also might have been up until 7 in the morning, right before that. Or even later, there's so many times where I watch the sun come up and it's like, okay, well, whatever. But, it's so frustrating when you have people that are like, oh yeah, well, I wish I could lay in bed all day and go make a couple of videos and like go do whatever I want. I was like, well, now I get kind of petty, and I'm like, well, if you knew how to do it, you would. So,
right.
I know.
Exactly.
But, it's not always that. It's not always sunshine. It's not always great. There's been a ton of shit that I've been through. There's been hard times, and there's always going to be hard times. I get it. But, dealing with that shit is exhausting. It's like when you hear that, you're like, dude, if you only knew, man, you couldn't handle it anyways.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, we got our butts kicked our first year majorly. Like, there were times where, like, I'd be bawling. Like, I was just, like, so distraught. Like, oh, my God, did I make a mistake? Did I not calculate this out enough? And that's the thing. You can sit there and you can calculate all you want
all day.
Things are going to go different no matter what. No matter how well you plan it, the best thing you can do is prepare yourself for every outcome that you possibly can imagine. That's my advice. Don't plan out a perfect plan, because it's not going to be perfect.
Man, what drives me nuts is people that are, and I've talked about this before, but the people that are gonna, you got those people, and we've talked about this. I don't need to hear that shit. I don't want to hear that shit.
Right.
I don't need to hear you're gonna, because just let's talk results. If you want to talk results, I'll talk to you. I just put out Snapchat today about this. It's this new year, new me, and everyone's sending me this shit, and they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. Well, look, instead of making this plan, this big elaborate plan that isn't going to go as planned anyways, you're wasting your time. Just get out there and start doing it. If you're going to do that, then go do it. And let's talk about that. And the people that shit on me about like I'm saying, the people that are, oh, I wish I could do that and not work, whatever. Well, look, let's talk results. You want to talk results. Well, let's see where things are at now versus where they were a year ago.
Right.
And I don't have it made by any means. And I struggle, just like the next guy from time to time, but if you want to talk results, that's what I'm interested in talking about. I don't need to hear your plans, and I don't need to hear your gonna.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Yeah, we're fighting to, become millionaires someday, or, have the world at our feet. Here's the facts. I pay my own way.
Yeah.
I don't have a company paying me.
Right.
I make my own living.
I like that.
I pay for my own stuff.
Yeah.
I did it all, well, not by myself. I had my business partner, my investor. I'm not going to say that either. I didn't do it all by myself.
Yeah.
But when it comes to making my own living, it's my own living. Every dollar was something that I bled for, that I've almost died for. So that's the thing. When you talk about success and whatnot, you know, success is something that really can't be measured.
Right. It's subjective to each person. Yeah.
And so me right now, and I'm not happy by any means. Oh no, I'm not stopping. There's no stopping now. But I'm like, you know what? If anybody comes at me or whatnot, I'd be like, you try it.
Right.
And I will be there to help you try it. I would love for you to try it. I would love for you to grow yourself.
Yeah.
You know, when I get salty now, I say, here, I'll help you do it. Let's go do it. Let's empower yourself. Go start a workout routine. Go build some muscle. Go start anything.
Yeah.
Because, you know, those people that say, well, I'm going to do it, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that. Yeah, it all starts somewhere. But you actually got to fucking do something. Yeah. You know, you actually got to go stick with something. And, you know, martial arts really played a key role in mine and my business partner's life, because we've done everything together. And it really changed, because like I've got ADHD. So for me to have like my thoughts collected at all times, I don't take medicine. I don't like it. I don't believe in it. I want to do this myself.
Yeah.
And because I was highly medicated all throughout my high school career, like all my entire school career for that matter. And I did not like it. I was 120 pounds when I graduated, or 125 when I graduated high school. Like, it just made me feel like death. And, you know, I said, no, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And then when I got into martial arts, it was more for the mental structuring that was super important. And, you know, having those fundamental building blocks to say, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And, you know, that's how I grew and whatnot. You know, I wasn't blessed like my business partner, because I'm telling you, he's a machine. Like, it'd be cool for you to have him on. He's a machine.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that's the thing. That's his gift. Everybody's got their individual things that they're really good at. And his is being structured and organized. And mine was beautiful fucking chaos.
Yeah.
And I learned to harness it. And I would point my chaos at something, and crazy avenues would just open up. Like,
isn't that wild?
You know, that's the thing. If you're not out there trying to get these things to happen, they're not going to happen.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
So right, man. People always say, you know, waiting for that boat to come in. That boat ain't coming.
No,
that boat ain't coming.
You got to go find that boat. You know, and that's like, we just got a new contract, and it's crazy how it happens, because I'm outgoing. And I knew we needed an excavator on this job. I went and I asked this person to borrow their excavator. Well, they own a giant underground business. We just got a huge contract through them. And so it's weird how things happen. If you're not outgoing, if you're not going to put yourself out there, if you're not 100% in what you're doing,
forget it.
Forget it. It's over. It's gonna train roll you.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to understand for anybody that is going to embark on a, you know, an actual, you know, changing year.
Yeah.
You've got to be 100% about it. And I mean, like, insane about it.
Man, even me, I feel like the vision that I have and the direction that I'm headed, I see it crystal clear. It's crystal clear to me. And I like to think that in that I am super laser focused. I've always been like this ever since I was a kid. I would pick one thing and I would just like, this is gonna, like, I'm gonna make this happen. Whether it was even at a really young age of being like, I'm gonna get this. Like, I want this bike, and whether I got to work for it or trade or whatever, rob it from some kid, you know, like, I'm gonna get this, and there's not anything that's gonna stop that. And it was very scary on how, like, I would get the shit. I would just get
manifestation.
I would get it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I still have that, but now I have this thing that isn't as quick to receive. So you're not going to just get this new lifestyle.
Right.
Oh, you're going to be able to do whatever you want type of thing. You know, it's not going to come within a few weeks, a few months, a few years. Like, you're going to have to work and put the work in and put the work in and get your ass kicked every day for so long,
Right.
and eat it and still come back for more.
Absolutely.
And I feel like I'm still there, you know. As time goes on, even the ass kickings, even if they're the same, it wears off a little less because you expect it. You're like, okay, I get it. But now it's like I kind of lost that doubt, the initial doubt that you have of like when shit goes terribly wrong and you're like, oh no, what have I done? You don't have that like in your ear of like, hey, you messed up, you made these mistakes. And I don't know, going off that, man, it feels good to maybe bring a little bit of that confidence back,
right,
you know, as time goes on.
well, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, look at the accomplishments. You know, looking back at, my year, I'm like, ugh, I didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But like, I'm gonna own 2 businesses.
Yeah.
I, am in the best shape of my life at 32. Like there's so many things to really reboost that confidence, like you were saying, and utilize that for fuel to keep going and whatnot. And that's important, revitalizing yourself and not being stuck, being ready to evolve into that next version of yourself.
Yeah.
Because that's the most important part.
And it's all the time.
You have to change.
Like,
coming. You will not make it if you're like, nope, I'm stuck in this way, I'm not doing anything else. Good luck to you.
Yeah.
You better be ready to change, because every new life occurrence that happens comes with new life experiences, and those life experiences are going to change you. And so it's super important to have an open mind when you're going onto this journey. And this, like I said, this whole segment is for people to really evaluate their year.
Yeah.
Really evaluate their next year. For the matter of fact, really evaluate the next 5 years, because you got to stop thinking about the year.
No one's
Shit doesn't happen in a year. 5 years, 10 years. Gary Vee talks about it all the time.
Yep.
Like another thing we need to do is we need to plug some Kerry Miller up in here too, because he's one of the most fascinating human beings I've ever seen in my life. And anybody watching should be downloading his music and supporting him and supporting you.
Holla.
Because that's the most important part. If you see people that are giving it their all and they're producing really good content or really good music, get behind them.
Yeah,
give them fuel.
Helpful.
They live off of you guys, so it's super important, because they're doing something that's transcending normal human life. And so downloading Kerry's music, listening to it, sharing your podcasts and whatnot, you have no idea, because he's coming and giving away stuff. You're giving back to the community. You're giving back to the people that are supporting you and whatnot. Right. And you never know what cool things can happen. Hell, I mean, you could get to a point to where that one person that shared that post maybe get to go on a trip or whatnot, or, something of that nature. You never know what can happen when you support somebody and you back somebody.
Absolutely.
So I think that's, in my line of work or whatnot, I don't need backing or whatnot. My business doesn't really work like that. But, especially for you guys or anybody out there, really get out there and share, like it up, get on the YouTube pages, share Kerry's, 100,000 plus viewed, songs and whatnot, and get him out there. And I just think it's really important to, when I see people that are succeeding, that are going to change the world, I latch to them and I say, go, keep going, because I know personally how hard it is to keep going. Yeah. Because it's like a tidal wave of all getting bashed all the time. And people don't see that background noise that we have to contend with at all times on, how hard it is to stay motivated and whatnot. So definitely anybody out there, be sharing his stuff, be liking his stuff, share Kerry's stuff, like Kerry's stuff, give them fuel to go make dreams realities, because you can follow in their footsteps. They're doing the work for you. They're laying the groundwork, the path that you can see success and watch it happen. What a cool thing,
Yeah, it's very cool. And I'll even say, man, for me, 2019, this year has been the biggest year in so many ways, but like really looking back at it, the people I've met, the things I've done, the places I've been, it is insane to me. If you would have told me that 3 years ago this would be the life I would live, I would be ecstatic. I wouldn't change it. It wouldn't change it at all. You know, I'd be like, really? Like that's my dream. That's it.
Possible.
Yeah, and that's where I'm at now. And it's, you know, now obviously things change and like you want more and you need to do this and that, you know, and there's always the next thing. There's always the next thing. But right now it's like, you know, looking back over the year, I'm just like, damn, I did all that. Like,
right.
And a lot of it hasn't been shown. A lot, you know, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't know all the stories and all that, and that's okay. But just on my personal level, like, really, I did that. Like, I'm building that.
You
it's
get
crazy.
to go to the grave accomplished.
Yeah, and I feel
How many
good about
people
that.
get to do that? You know, like that's my most exciting thing. Is I'm going to the grave knowing I gave this every fucking thing I had.
Yeah.
That's my fact. You know, I may not die a rich man. I may not die a great man. I may not impact millions of people. But I know for a fact that I gave this life every drop of blood that I had.
Yeah.
You know, I gave it my best shot. And what comes out of that, I have no expectations. I'm shooting for the fucking stars, you know? So that's the thing. So, and I would hope that everybody would live like that and say, you know, I'm going to go help this person out or mentor this person every chance that I get. You know, I'm not a big people person. I don't hang out with a lot of people. I tend to stay very reclusive. And that's just how I've become over the years. But when somebody does come into my life, I'm like on them, like, you got this to do. You can do this. You can do that. You know,
you've done it with me, man.
You know, and that's crazy. You know, and that's the thing. I shouldn't be giving, you know, you advice or anything like that. And I don't try to give advice. I try to give encouragement.
Yeah,
you know,
I
just, you know, fire, go.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't know the impact that you can have on a person or, you know, people.
Yeah.
You know, you could be changing lives, and that's the coolest thing about it. Like, that's really giving back. That's, you want to talk about money, that's currency. Right. You know, and it's been very important to me. So that's definitely, as I grow, I'm trying to give back, and I'm trying to show people that they can do this too. And again, I'm not after the average people or the people that are happy or whatnot. I'm after the ones under the rocks, you know, that have been stepped on their entire lives. I want those people to rise.
Yeah.
I want you to be great. And that's the most important part to me is showing people that, you know, you're not stuck. Life's not holding you down. You've got it all inside of you. You just got to pull it out.
You're exactly right, man. And even when you were talking about, you know, giving back and how much it means to people, it's insane to me. And I had a very difficult time figuring out how to deal with this, but I'm a huge people person, man. I don't know a stranger. When I go out somewhere, even before all this, I would go somewhere and I would know somebody there, and like we would hang out and shoot shit, and I'll talk to anybody. I'll find common ground on anything you want to talk about. I'll talk to you about it. But as things kind of developed and I got to be a little more well known, especially in the area and surrounding areas, it was very odd because people would show up at the house that I didn't know, and people would like take pictures of the place, and it was very weird, and I felt like I didn't have any privacy, and it was very quickly to happen, and I didn't know how to handle it, man. I would like shut all the blinds in the house, and like I had to sleep with my door shut because I always felt like someone was looking at me, and I got all the cameras and shit around the house, and I was like, dude, you know, this is not good. It's not good. And now as things have developed into what they are, it's not so bad for me. And I don't mind it now. When I'm out and about and people ask for a picture or whatever, I'm like all for it. You know, hell yeah, let's take a pic. Like, let's do that.
Right.
And I embrace it now. But it took me a long time to get there, and it was very difficult. But now when people give back, you know, that's a big way and a big thing. And it's really cool to see it and hear it. And it's even more interesting when they mention things that maybe I forgot. And they're like, do you remember in this video when you did this, or the way that you said this, or the way that you articulated this interesting statement? Like, it could be the most far off the wall thing possible. And you're just like, nah, man, I don't, but I'm really happy that you do.
Right.
You know, and that's a cool thing. It's the coolest, you know, and it's still weird when people are like, hey, can we take a picture? You know, like, yeah, me? Like, you sure?
Right.
But it's very cool, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. That's like, just still, it's like, damn, really,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I mean, my experiences are different. I just have a very small group of people.
Right.
And, you know, that's another difficult thing when you own a business and whatnot. You want to do the best by
Yeah.
your people and whatnot. And, you know, you want to give them the most money and stuff like that. And, you know, that's another hard thing is, you know, they don't see the grinds and the bills. And, like, I
Yeah.
know my business partner has to have, like, an ulcer the size of the moon because he manages the money and whatnot.
Right.
And luckily, he spares me from that stress because I'm pretty sure I would just rip my hair out.
Yeah.
And you know that's the thing that people don't understand. We're fighting to give you more. That's the thing. With this business and everything that I'm doing, I don't want to be the rich mogul that's, you know, stepping on the little guys and
Right.
stuff like that. No, I want to empower you. I tell all my guys, like, if you find something better, absolutely go out, do it. We may not be there to pay you the large dollar amounts yet and stuff like that. And it's just the journey. You know, we're not all made perfectly 100% yet. You know,
Yep.
our business isn't the multi-million-dollar business. We're gonna be damn close next year, but that's the thing. We're at the rate of double, and that's a cool thing, especially for a new business. That's a very cool thing, and that's the thing. That's been rough. Like,
Very difficult. Manageable growth is
yes, it's a very hard thing, and you got to be grinding. You got to be ready to vomit. You know, you got to be throwing the nooses up any given day, like just staring at them. And you know, that's the thing. It's rough. It's so rough, but it is the most fulfilling thing I have ever done in my existence.
Yep.
Like, I will not give it up. I will not stop. I cannot stop until I'm successful. And I'm not putting a limitation on my success. I will not do it. I'm going to go, evolve, get stronger, go, evolve, get stronger. And that's the thing. I'm not going to post a new year thing, nothing like that. This is my life.
Right.
This isn't about a new year. This is about my life. This is about who I'm becoming. You know, this is much more than a goal. This is a mindset. This is a legacy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the most important part. And just showing people out there that they've got it in them, that they can do anything. Like I said,
So
two
true.
businesses, $0.
Yep.
I have out of pocketed $0.
Yep.
One of my businesses is going to make, it'll cap out at about $100,000 a year. I have no issue saying numbers or whatnot. I'm projecting, we broke $300,000 in revenue this year in our underground business, and we'll probably hit 600 this next year. And you think that's a lot of money. Like, if people out there thinking that's a lot of money, that is chump change when it comes to owning a business. There is a lot of expenses, like so many that a lot of people would not get into it. But, you know, I had to do something.
Right.
That's all I knew. I had to do something. And fate is a very interesting thing because it will lead you to what you need to do. And maybe this isn't what I'm going to finish, but it's damn well what I started.
Right.
And I will grow it and migrate into slot parlors. I will migrate, I'm sure, into something else. You know, I love to open a gym, you know, so I see that on horizon. I don't outrule anything.
Yeah.
And you can't.
You can't. You're exactly right.
And I just think it's very important that people understand that this stigma, that these things are impossible.
Yeah, that's what's wild.
It baffles me.
Yeah, and for me it's a tough thing in what I do because people don't see They don't understand how is it that how do you make money? Like let's just call it what it is.
Right.
How do you make money? What do you do? You make some videos? Is that it?
Right.
Like, and then they don't understand that, okay, well, let's put this out in perspective here. Let's take an average business. Let's say that their marketing department has a $10,000 a year budget.
Mm-hmm.
And let's say that they're going to put up a billboard and they're projected to see maybe 5,000 people are going to see that. Well, I can put together a video for you, or if you want to sponsor the B Team podcast, whatever. Like I just did the numbers on this, dude. The B Team podcast last month did 40,000 views on Facebook alone.
That's awesome.
So like when you can talk numbers and you can talk real results, all of a sudden it becomes a viable option and a product. And so now it's like, okay, well, if you have, and I do my damnedest to, like, I don't work with people that I don't think are going to benefit from me, as well as me not benefit from them.
Oh yeah, that's super important.
Yeah, so like if I had a restaurant in California come to me and they're like, hey, we want to promote our food. Well, I can't do that because I've never eaten there.
Right.
And so like I really try to keep it authentic, and that's a fine line because I tell a lot of people no that sometimes are very lucrative.
Right.
And I tell a lot of people yes that are local, that I would rather I'll take the loss, the air quote loss, to stay true, because I feel like later on as things develop and grow and to be bigger, that the money will come. I don't get caught up in the dollars and cents and all that, because to me it's not super important right now. What I'm trying to build and keep authentic and true. That's what's important.
Absolutely.
And that's a big thing. But a lot of people don't understand that. And a lot of people especially in small towns where you have kids that want to be YouTubers, and they can't find that way out. And maybe they get bored, and maybe they go to parties and get drunk and do dumb shit like I did.
Right.
And maybe they piss it all away like I damn near did. That's where I get pretty passionate, because it's like, okay, well, shit, man. Like, look, this is doable, and I'll show you how to do it. And not only that, I'll help you. I have people all the time, every day, that message me. What do you use for editing software? What kind of computer do you have? Where do you start? Where do you get your music?
I've done it.
Yeah.
I messaged you and whatnot.
Yeah. And I'm always there to help.
Yeah. And that's the most amazing thing. And that's why I think it's super important that people do watch you and respect you, because there's a lot of people out there that'll just start grabbing any dollar that comes their way. Yeah. And then their stuff gets, flooded and wishy-washy and whatnot. And it's the true, authentic people that have a vision, that they want this vision. And again, Carrie Miller, I'm not going to name drop anybody else. Those are you two are the worthy ones that I've seen, it's just super important that you get behind the people that are authentic, that do have this dream and have shed the blood to be where they're at. And, I guess I talk about it really gory and whatnot, but if you could see the inside of me, you would see a lot of scars.
Man. Well, it's tough. And like, even when you talk about the respect thing, that goes a long way. And I feel like I'm borderline like the comedian type, you know what I mean? And so when people that have never met me and I'm out and about or whatever, and they expect that, it's very difficult to deliver every time. I can think of a time when me and Carrie were in Nashville. There was this group of people that came up to me, and I had my back to them, and as I heard someone yell, "Hey, it's Brandon Briles." Well, I turn around and this guy is like on top of me, and this other dude's coming, and they damn near like I'm not a big dude,
right?
And like they damn near pummel me, and this place is very crowded, anyways. And so I'm immediately like on high alert of like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? And I didn't know it, but they just wanted to take a picture, and like they thought I was gonna think it was funny.
Right.
But I was immediately pissed, And I'm like, dude, get the hell away. But you can't do that.
Right.
You don't want to. I didn't want to. And so you're like, oh, okay, I gotta shake this off. Like, all right, yeah, here, if you guys want a picture, like we'll take the picture. Like, I get it. But that's a tough thing, and the lack of respect is there sometimes, or people, maybe the lack of understanding.
Right.
Is probably,
I think it's definitely the lack of understanding. I mean, everybody's got their demons.
Right.
Everybody's got their depressions. I'm not ever going to take away from any of that. What I will say is you could do better.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. Like,
Yep.
that's the fact. You can always do better. You can always feel better. If you're not feeling good, go get a gym membership. Do the simple steps to give your body what it needs to have energy to fight the depression, to fight the anxiety. If you're anxious, go calm yourself down. Get your mind focused on something, you know? There's always a way. You know, I see all these people getting pumped full of meds and stuff like that. Like, I'm at 100 all the time. Like, I should probably be on medications and whatnot. But I'm at 100 because I chose to be at 100. I chose all this anxiety. I chose all the bad stuff that's possibly going to come my way. You know, and I'm not here to say I'm going to make it and fuck, no, I'm going to make it. I'm going to make it. You know, I'll say I'm going to make it. But I'm not coming here to tout or toot my horn.
Right.
I'm coming here to toot your horn. You know, I'm coming here to blow you up. I want you to succeed. I want you to go do something great. You know, I watch, you know, if you were to ask my girlfriend what I do every day. Hey, Jessica, what do I do every day?
You sit on your phone and watch really long videos that are really annoying.
Motivational stuff.
Yeah.
Every day.
Yeah.
Like every day. When I ingest alcohol, I'm learning. Right. I don't do a negative thing with my alcoholism or anything like that because I enjoy drinking. I don't care. It's one of my pastimes. I need to de-stress or whatnot. I watch my YouTube videos. I learn something new. I learn about paradigms and your, you know, the way your mind works on creating patterns and, you know, breaking your old paradigms and whatnot. And, you know, just any knowledge that I can get my hands on. I'm self-taught. I learned everything I know myself. And, you know, there's one person, there was a teacher that I had that changed everything, and I'll never forget him. And I hope there are more teachers out there like him, because I know this is a very, like, liberal, like, you know, kind of era to where you can't really say what you want to say. And it's, you know, he basically said, you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to do anything. You have all of this ability and you're pissing it away. And he outed me in front of everybody. And I just remember smiling like a little jackass, being like, okay, I got you. And, you know, someday I will go shake his hand. When I feel like I've succeeded enough, I will go shake his hand. Because I will never forget that day. That was in 7th grade in a history class. Or no, I think it was 9th grade history. And I will never forget that. And I hope more people are out there telling the truth instead of, you know, hiding behind feelings and stuff like that. You can't, like, butter people up. Some people are going to make it. Some people aren't going to make it. The best you can do is get everything you got. And that's it. Life is life. You know, there's no mysticism, anything to it. It's do it. Do it. Go make something happen for yourself. You don't like your job, go find a new job that pays more. I did it at least 3 times. Every time, without a college education, I doubled my money. You know, like I said, I was making $65,000 at one point, and I could have retired. Could have lived that average life and whatnot. You know, but that's the thing. Retirement for a correctional officer, if you're lucky to live past 60 because of the crazy amount of stress that you're under, you know, I think it's like 70s that you get to retire now, tier 2, somewhere around there.
Oof.
Like, what a retirement that is.
No shit.
I get like 5 more good years, you know, like, no. And I'm not knocking that either. I'm not knocking that. Don't think that I'm knocking anybody that's happy. If you're happy, you're good at what you do, that's great. I love that. Keep doing that. You know, but if you're miserable and you're on the internet complaining and you're being sappy and, like, go change something.
I hate that shit, man.
Go
and
do
there's
something.
a lot. So much negativity. And it's like, it's such a bummer that it's like the loudest. You know,
Right.
like people, they feed off that.
Right.
Ooh, he's having a bad day.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. I backed down my social media output. You know, I post a motivational video. That's about it.
Yeah.
You'll rarely see me post anything now. I backtracked and internalized everything because me projecting anything wasn't fixing anything.
Right.
I had to fix myself.
Yeah, and it's
know?
a tough thing. You know, it's tough to learn yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like I think that's probably one of the number one, probably I would say the number one hardest thing to do as for me as a young man, as for a lot of the people that I see online, you know, people jumping from, like, just for instance, from relationship to relationship. I see so many things of where people are like, oh man, I'm single again, you know, or like, and and this isn't directed towards anybody, but it's like, man, so many of these people, you look at them and you're like, dude, you need to be like you for a
Right.
minute, you know. And I understand that, you know, people find love and that kind of thing. I'm not knocking that. But when I see people like every other week in a different relationship, and I love this person, oh, I can't be myself. I can't be by myself.
Right.
It's like, dude, that's exactly what you need.
I mean, I'm not even going to lie. I was like that.
It's tough. It's the hardest thing.
Well, I mean, that was like growing up. Like I was like a sappy dude, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
No,
like that was my big thing. Like I wanted to be in love. And man, did I screw myself. Like, man, was that dumb because I didn't love myself.
It's the hardest thing.
That's
man.
the thing.
Yeah.
And once I finally got done. I was done. I was not going to date another soul. Like I was done. Like
yeah.
I stayed single for almost a year. And, you know, she came along and she was amazing. And I was kind of robotic at that time, like dead. I was focused.
Yeah.
Like I only saw my mission. I wanted to complete my mission and whatnot. And, you know, that's a thing. She really kind of brought me back to life in a way too, and gave me emotion, because I'm finding more and more that the emotion that I can put into people that are working for me and stuff like that, that's important too.
Yeah.
So it's all about that balance.
It is.
And
it is. It definitely is.
Again, what I'm finding, and I'm thankful, you know, that's a great accomplishment for me, that I'm finally in a healthy relationship and whatnot.
Yeah. And man, it is tough though, you know, like, and kind of going back to that, seeing so many guys and girls really struggle with that is heartbreaking, because it's like, man, if you only knew how good it would do you to spend a little bit of you time and figure out you, because you're not going to make somebody, dude. And I'm guilty just as the next guy.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm not, you know, and I spent a long time, you know, a relationship went sour and we tried to work shit out and patch it up, you know, and everything's going to hell and you're trying to really hold on to it and you're gritting so hard. And
but while you're doing that, all of those vines
are
floating by, and you're missing your
because
opportunities because you're focused on the wrong stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
And so for me, I was like, dude, I really got to sit down and figure, and look, I made some mistakes, you know, and done dumb shit in between.
Who hasn't?
But yeah, it's like in the midst of that, of like getting to sit back and think like, okay, what is it that I need out of like another person? Right. So if I had if I was to write down the perfect thing of a girl on paper, you know, what would I write down? And I found out that it wasn't the same person that I had drawn myself to before.
Right.
And now I'm very cautious about letting people in. Very cautious. I don't introduce people to like my family unless I'm like I really like this person. And that's with friends and shit too. And I don't bring people into my inner circle, you know, and I feel like, especially as things get bigger, it's like everyone's knocking. Everyone, like I get so many messages like, hey, now can I come hang out? Like, hey, you want to come out to this thing we're doing? Do you want to do?
Which is a blessing.
It is.
You know? It
is. But it's like people don't see the back end of that, of like where, you know, you become real reserved real quick. And you're like, I think I'm gonna hang tight on this.
Well, I mean, that's the only friends that I have. You know, and this is the thing. I don't even talk to my friends that much. But there's a certain select people that if they call me, I'm picking up that phone or whatnot. And that's another negative about business and whatnot. You know, this is consumed to me.
Yeah.
I have not talked to family members for a long time, and it's not because I don't, or because I'm being selfish, or because I don't care. It's literally, this is a consuming thought.
Right.
There is a mountain of weight on top of me at all times. And that's another important part for people to understand. When you embark on this journey, you're going to have to make sacrifices.
Yeah.
And that's as my circle went from hundreds of drinking acquaintances back in my early 20s to, if I don't work with you, there's a good chance you're not going to see me very often,
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Every day's work. I can't even take a weekend day without doing something work related now. And that was kind of hard for me. I wouldn't say like I'm a super strong person mentally, so building that strength took a lot of time and whatnot, and understanding it doesn't matter, it's what you wanted, Andrew. And that's the thing I had to remind myself. It's what you wanted.
Yep.
So that's another thing. When you embark on this journey, don't bite off too much. Don't ask for something you don't really want.
Yep.
Because life has a
You'll
knack
get
of
it.
giving you exactly what you're searching for. And I want people to be motivated. I want people to be positive, but I also want people to know the truths.
Be real.
When you go on YouTube and whatnot, and you're watching the motivational videos, and you're watching these billionaires and millionaires that have succeeded and whatnot, you don't really see their stories.
Yeah.
You just hear stories.
Yep.
And they'll say you're gonna fail. You're gonna fail. Well, how are you gonna fail? Give me an example of how that's something I'm interested in, how people misstepped.
Right.
What was the engineering in their mind that wasn't adequate to get the job done at that current point in time? And so that's why I want to get on here and say, I've been a loser. I've misstepped. I've done this. I dropped out of high school. I never got into drugs. Drugs was never my thing. That wasn't my thing whatsoever. And it's still like, I know like in Illinois, everybody's like all hyped and 100 that marijuana is about to be legal. That's cool for whoever wants to do it. I'm not going to knock anything. I really try not to knock anything.
Yeah.
But it's not my thing. It's never been my thing. It makes me all like loopy and I guess paranoid and whatnot, and it makes me start losing control. Like, I'm so in control now that things that make me lose control actually like drive me nuts.
It scares the shit out of me thinking about it.
I do not like being out of control, because if I misstep one thing or I miss one opportunity, it could set you back 5 years.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you take this journey, you got to be all in. You got to have your wife all in. That's another important part, is anybody that is involved in you or that is your friend or whatnot has to understand the journey that you're walking.
Yeah.
You're walking on, blades basically 24/7.
Yeah.
You better be telling them, hey, you better be getting some steel-toed laced boots to be walking with me, because it's going to get hairy. And your significant other, I always try to explain, hey, things are going to get way more intense.
Yeah.
And that's, doing random things is super important with your spouse or whatnot, and keeping your marriage or your relationship intact, because it's very easy to become completely consumed by what's going on, especially when you fire all engines and you're going 100. Everything else can be left in the dust. Just very quickly.
Tunnel vision is how I get, man. I'm like,
and so I think what I have found is the only way to really stop that, because you always see, most of the millionaires and whatnot that talk have multiple divorces.
Yeah.
They have all been divorced and whatnot, and you either have to explain to your partner, this is what's going to happen and this is how it is being with me, or you have to build them also so they understand a portion of the stresses and stuff that you're going through. And, that's what I try to do currently is get everything prepared for what's coming, because I know what's coming. I know the heaviness that's coming. And I want everybody in my circle involved. in the changes that are coming, because I'm not the same person. I mean, if a person is seeing this and they're like, Andrew, successful, blah, you know, like,
right.
I'm sorry, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You probably haven't talked to me in 3 years, 4 years,
Yeah.
5 years, 10 years. You don't know who I am now. You don't know what I've been doing. You know, it's almost like ritualistic in what I have done, and the baptism in business or success and getting my life together out of the pile of shit that I had created it into.
Yep.
That takes at least 5 years to do, making the right choices just to dig yourself out of the hole that you put yourself in.
Yeah.
You know, you can't, that's number one. People, if you're going to start a business or whatnot, you better be ready for that business. You know, getting yourself on point is the first step to starting a business.
It is. Yeah. I mean, and just like, you know, with the significant other thing, I think that getting yourself right is always right. And a lot of people ask me too, you know, when is the right time? And I might be wrong on this. Look, I don't know. All I can compare it to is my life and what has worked for me. But what I would say is now. It's always now, and it's always going to be now. If you're thinking about moving, right? And I haven't really put this out there, but I'm considering the idea. And I don't know. There's a lot of things that there's pluses and minuses, right? Just like anything in life. But would it be the right time for me right now? Well, I like to say no, but probably is, because, and I'll put it this way: as things go on, it's only going to get harder, right? I'm only going to make, like, let's just put it out there. I'm only going to make more money. I'm only going to get more things here, because of the money. I'm only going to meet more people around here, and it's going to be harder to leave here. Now, with that, you know, there's other costs too of, like, well, you don't know anybody wherever you're potentially going, you know, and like you have the house and you know, and all your shit's here, and like the dog and all that. But I always tell people, it's now. It's just, are you willing to do it
right now?
Now. Yeah. And for me, am I willing to move? Well, no, you know, no.
Right.
And I always try to audit that with, typically, you know, I'll just say it, but it's like, man, normally I'll be like, is it because you're being a pussy? Is that why? Or is it something legitimate?
Right.
And I feel like if it's something legitimate, then I will go through the process of like, okay, well, maybe I should really second guess this. Is this really the right thing? You know, am I wanting to do this, or am I needing to do this? But if it's like, no, you just don't have the balls to do it, a lot of times it's like, I'll take it and force it. And look, that's not, I don't think that's always the right thing, but I think that it develops a lot of character. And I think it definitely develops, it'll give you self-esteem every time. Because as you do it, and even if it's the wrong thing, but you give it a hell of a run, and you're like, and maybe it works, but to a different degree, or, you know, whatever, it gives you that confidence of like, damn, I did, okay, like, well, if I can do that, then maybe I can do this. And like, you know, it just creates that next vine to grab a hold of.
Absolutely. I mean, there was one pinnacle that really drove me, and that was, you know, right when I was starting the business, I was in the trade-a-day program at the prison, which means I worked 3 days for 2 16-hour shifts and then an 8-hour shift, and then I was off 4 days, and I worked the other business. And this was as I was bringing my best friend in to partner with me and whatnot. And, you know, I got to the point, I did that for about 6 months, just crazy amount of work and whatnot. And I got to the point where I was like, you know what, I'm going to do this. I'm doing it. I'm going to leave the security,
the secure,
everything that could save my life,
easy.
The health insurance, everything, and I'm going to drop it. And I was in a relationship.
Be a dummy, Andrew. Be a dummy.
At that time. And this is an important lesson, that you don't know what's going to happen. I had a plan.
Right.
My plan kicked me square in the nuts.
Yeah.
You know, and it was winter time when I decided to do this. I was probably ignorant as shit because my business is summer based.
Yeah.
But I was like, I'm going to be okay. I've got to do this. This is killing me. I've got to do this. And I did it. And I pulled the trigger. I walked in, I gave my notice, and I don't know how many people behind the scenes were like, you're retarded. You know, like, are you good luck, you know,
Yeah.
they gave you that
Right.
that faulty like bullshit
Uh-huh.
line, you know, you'll be fine, you'll do good.
You'll
And
do
then
good
in the
things,
back
Andrew.
they're like, oh, he's gonna fall on his face.
Yeah, he'll be back.
You know. But that's the thing. I made it to where I couldn't go back. I
Right.
called off my last 3 days. I made it to where I could never come back. I didn't want to come back.
Yeah.
I made it to where I had to succeed. I put myself in that position. I went through a really bad breakup, and you want to talk about some depression and whatnot. Try moving in with your parents at 30, basically being homeless, and that's when it clicked. And I saw in a room for 6 months as I was picking up all the pieces and whatnot, and I was like, never fucking again is this going to happen to me.
Yeah.
I am going to make it. Never again. And I got driven, and I mean like hellishly driven.
Yeah.
And
It takes that.
I have not looked back ever since.
It takes
And
that, man. It does.
I cannot stress to people that if you want to do something great, you are going to have to be great to do it.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's really what I wanted to do. You know, it kind of worked out to be the perfect time. And that's the thing. We had talked previously about me coming up, and then I'd get slammed with work or whatnot. And it just kind of fell into that perfect
This is perfect.
scenario
Yeah.
for the new year.
Yep.
And being positive and transforming yourself and really seeing, like, who doesn't want to know what the fuck they've got inside themselves?
Right. Right.
Who
I gotta
doesn't want
know.
to test themselves?
Yeah.
You know, like, who doesn't want to be amazing and know that you fulfilled yourself? It wasn't another person. It wasn't a company. It wasn't anything else but your own 2 feet and 2 hands and the mindset that you put yourself through.
Yeah.
Like, that to me is everything. You know, like, it's been 10 years in the making. I was one of the most retarded, and I don't know if I should say that or if people I don't mean any negative things by saying that word, but, you know, just ignorant. Ignorant would probably be a better term. Sorry if I offended anybody. But ignorant. You know, I was partying. I didn't care. And that's the thing. I mean, I'd be a millionaire. I would if I could take this mind and put it in a 22-year-old body, I'd be a fucking millionaire right now. 100%. No questions asked. I know I would. Like, and that's what kills me. And that's what I don't want to see happen with anybody younger out there.
Right.
Don't waste the time. I know, like, Gary Vee is a big, you know, talker on, you know, you can do this when you're 40, you can do this when you're 50. I like to say, fuck that. Do this now. Be happy now. Lay your foundation now. Change your life now. Because any of those people out there that are lonely, can't find a girl or whatnot, how is a girl going to deny you if you were one of the greatest motherfuckers walking around?
Right.
You have your stuff together. You own your own house. You've got money in the bank. You take care of your body, your temple. You know, how? It's impossible. You'll never be lonely forever. That I promise you. You work on yourself, you'll never be lonely forever. You know, so it's all about prioritizing what you really want. You want a girlfriend? Well, guess what? You better be loving yourself, taking care of yourself, getting yourself right. You want a business? You better be getting yourself right. You better be manifesting that every minute of the day. And it's every minute for me.
Yeah.
I am constantly thinking about this now. I do not stop. And, you know, that's also a negative because I have a beautiful, you know, girlfriend that I have to think about and give her time and whatnot, you know, but I've mastered it. I plugged it together.
Yeah.
I took business and love and threw them together to where I can love her just as much as I love business, you know, and that's the thing that's super important is finding a way to mesh everything together because, you know, if somebody's walking like a tortoise and you're running like a hare, more than likely you're going to leave that person behind.
Right.
You know, that's the thing. But if you can create a contraption to put that tortoise in, you know, not saying that she's not a tortoise, because I'd like her to get up here and kind of talk about her journey and whatnot also. If no, okay, not okay. All right. But but she's doing some really cool stuff too, and she's about to take her big leap and whatnot. And this is nothing that I pushed. I don't want anybody thinking, you know, I allow people to make their own assumptions, to do their own things. And then I say, hey, I've got this fact, this fact, this fact. I've done it this way, this way, this way. Here's a proven method that I know that works. Here's this. You can use this. And if she were to decide to stay with what she's doing currently, I would accept that. That's cool. That's the thing. Like when I make the analogy of making a little carriage for a tortoise, people don't understand how fast we got to run.
Right.
People don't understand how hard we have to work and whatnot. So if you're going this hard, it's really easy for your partner to be like, well, you don't care about me. You're not giving me time. You know, you're not doing this and whatnot.
Cut him off.
And
I can work with him.
oh yeah,
cut him off.
and that's the thing. I've never had anybody that'll go to work with me, and it doesn't impact me because I'm going to go do what I got to do, whether she's there or not. But she is so awesome and caring and supportive. That's the main thing.
Yeah,
that she'll go there and she'll
I think it is important for, you know, to have a good, I mean, not even a good significant other, but a good support system, no matter what that is. So whether it's a significant other, or if it's a group of friends, or if it's, you know, somebody that you can go back and forth and talk about ideas, or, you know, whatever with. I think that is important. I do. And I also think that to be able to take whoever you're getting that information from and do the most with it, I think that you do have to be the best person that you can be. And I also think that a lot of times people will listen to maybe some kind of shitty ideas because of who it's coming from.
Right.
And I've fallen into that. You know, it's not, you know, directed at anybody, but it's like, you know, I mean, you get like a friend of yours maybe, and they're like, hey, I got this great idea and I want to do this and I want to do this, and it's going to cost this much and it's going to do this and do that, and you're like, all right, I'm on board. Right. Because but if you heard it from anybody else, you'd be like, fuck no. Right. Yeah. And so I think that you do have to be cautious on what you listen to, you know, but when you have a good support system, man, there's nothing better. And I, like, for me, you know, I mean, I do. And it's great. Like I'm really close to my mom. I talk to my mom a lot. I mean, I've got the best friends that a guy could ask for. And I mean, what more could you ask for than that? Really?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so even like, you know, Derek and Matt have, over the last, man, probably 6 months, have helped out tremendously. And it's like, when you want to talk about growth, all of a sudden you know, it's like, shit, this isn't just me anymore. And now you're doing this for others, and you know, kind of putting them on, or, you know, being able to take them out to eat, or, you know, the little shit, to me, it counts. And going and doing stuff, like with me and Matt going to Vegas, like that was a big thing. And now we're going to LA, and you know, it's cool to see things develop and turn into more than just me, because that's not my plan. It's definitely not my want to be, you know, just Brandon Briles, you know, the video guy, or, you know, anything like that. Like, I want to have a team of people, and I want to go do things and work with brands. Yeah, it is. Absolutely. It absolutely is. And it's absolutely possible. If you're a kid that's, you know, look, if you're a kid that's lucky enough to hear this, right? So if you have an internet connection, you're in the United States, or even if you're not, look, if you are listening to this, it's possible. Because more than likely, you have a cell phone that's got a video camera on it. You can go make videos just like me. You don't need the fancy shit. I don't even use the fancy shit. I've had it and I don't use it. There's much easier stuff out there. There's always the opportunity. It's got to start with you.
You would be surprised how many assets are out there available for you that don't cost much money at all.
If any.
The best thing about it, most of your greatest assets are in you.
Yeah, either you or relationships.
If you are good at talking and you can sell an idea, and you, like, when I blueprinted this idea, my business took me 1.5 years to blueprint out. I thought of every angle, everything, and I executed it. Everything that I said I was going to do, I did.
Yeah.
We did.
That's
me and my business partner did.
That's the shit I like to hear.
And that's the thing. If let's say you're not like it, and this is the thing. It's not just online. It's not you don't have a limitation on where you can make your money.
Right.
You know, don't think that, oh, well, the only way I'm going to make my money is becoming a viral YouTuber, or
Right.
the only way I'm going to make my money is becoming a driller, or,
Yeah.
you know, no, that's the thing. If you surround yourself by the right people, the
Yep.
right environment, you get the right mindset, and you start learning everything you can. You put the time in. The way to start out is the time. It's for free.
Yep.
You have hopefully an endless supply until you're 100 and you're in your grave, and then you're regretting that you never went out and you did something.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm hoping.
and that's the
stray
thing.
away
That's
from.
the saddest place in the world is the graveyard.
Yeah.
Hundreds and millions and billions of ideas have gone to the grave.
Yeah.
Just because people were too scared, you know. And I don't want anybody to be too. This is the greatest time to be alive.
It is. It absolutely
literally
is. Yeah.
You are not locked down by any constraint. College is nothing anymore. I mean,
Right.
it's don't take me wrong. It's a lot. It's really good for certain people that know how to utilize it or whatnot. But if you go and you rack up $60,000 in debt and you're making $30,000,
right.
you know, like, come on.
Yeah.
But where's the idea in that?
Yeah.
You know, it's good to educate. I'm not saying
education's great.
You know, you have to educate yourself. But I think that with the internet and the way
yeah, man, it's insane now. Like, we're now living in a time that is unlike any other time ever, and it's not even like incrementally different. It's more different than it's not different.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so like where you know you needed school and you needed, you know, even 15, 20 years ago, college meant a lot. And now, to be honest with you, I think there's far more people in college that shouldn't be. And I think that it's like, man, I can do things. There's certain things that me in particular, I am better at doing than college graduates I've met. And I'm nothing special.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have all these different outlets of places to learn. You know, you can Google things now. You can get on YouTube. You can talk to other people from across the country that have done it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just countless ways. You can write letters. You can make phone calls. You can reach out. You can network. You can meet people from far, far better than what maybe you came from. You know, there's just a million different opportunities now where it's not like it used to be, where you grew up and you had your mom and your dad and they taught you how to wipe your ass and tie your shoes, and then they sent you to school and there you go. And that's your education. Now it's like, it's just, the people are so connected now that there's so much more available. And man, the stigma of like, you know, going to college and that's the only way to do it. It sucks to see it, man, because I've seen a lot of people blow some money and go to school and party their ass off and blow the education, blow the scholarship, just really blow it, you know? And then have to start already in the dumps, already feeling bad about themselves, already in the negative mindset. And life's hard enough.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then going from that, it's like, man, you know, that sucks. And look, that's me. Like, I'm nothing special. I went to college. I partied my ass off. I blew it. Got into a lot of debt. Like, look, I know, I lived it. You know what I mean? You're not telling me nothing. And so, like, you know, the folks that are like, well, it's easy for you to say, Brandon, because you can go and do whatever. You know, no, you work your ass off. And anyone that's ever made it, they work their ass off.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's
like,
all there's to it.
This stuff isn't like just divine. When you start unlocking yourself and your potential, then divinity steps in. You start really getting to your grind. You know, cool little life hacks start happening to you and whatnot.
Serendipity.
But until you walk it, don't talk about it. That's the thing. Like, you know, because you're already setting yourself up for failure. If you go and dog on somebody, you're basically putting it in your mind, well, that's not possible. He got lucky. Bullshit. There is no luck about this. I grinded my ass. There was no luck. There was bad luck. That's what luck was. There was bad luck. And I pushed through it. So like, don't ever put that stigma in your mind. Like, this is the thing. You can go do it. You can do it. I promise you. It's you just got to give it everything you got.
Absolutely. And I think the biggest, and this is a direct thing that you can do. If you're listening to this, a direct thing that when I see this in somebody else, it makes the difference for me. And that is doing what you say you're going to do. If, you know, I've met countless people that, oh, I'm going to do this, whatever, and they never do it. You already know it's like, you're like, you know, might listen to it for a minute or two, but you're like, nah, whatever. And I mean, I'm talking down to the smallest detail. Like if somebody says, look, I'm going to go and buy this car, right? Okay. Well, go get the car. If you're going to say that that's what you're going to do, then do it. And look, I know shit happens and maybe that's not the right decision or there was a lapse in judgment or whatever. But for the most part, man, the shit that I say, if I'm going to do this, you can take it to the fucking bank.
Absolutely.
It's getting done. And it's always weird to see, like, you know, you always have the people that doubt. And I really try not to talk about shit I'm not doing. I really do.
Yeah.
I really do. And even when this podcast, like I did talk about this a little bit before it was really in the works. And I talked about like, man, I'm thinking about doing this. Like this might happen. And then it was one day I pulled the trigger and within like 2 weeks, it was here. And, you know, in that 2 weeks of like, no, I'm going to do a podcast. It's happening. This is it. People are like, we'll see.
Right.
We'll see. You know, and it's like, all right, yeah, you're right. We will see. And I like to have that. I like to have that on my side. And you can leverage that when you go to somebody and you say, look, man, I can offer you this, whether it's a job that you can do or whether it's a skill that you have, or maybe it's something that you're just wanting to show them or give them or whatever. When someone sees that, like, damn, okay, this guy puts his ass behind every single thing he says he's doing, he's not full of shit.
Right.
That's all it is, man. And so if you're listening to this, don't be full of shit.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, it's in a nutshell. That's it. Like I've become, like I said, very reclusive. I don't post a lot. I don't talk a lot. The only reason that I'm coming here is to talk to them.
Oh yeah.
And say you can do it.
And so for someone,
because I feel like that's an obligation that I have.
Yeah.
I've come from the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, and now I'm here.
Right.
You know, now I'm quoting lyrics and whatnot. But you know, that's the thing. I don't talk about stuff. Like I didn't put any of legacy slots out there.
No, I'm not saying you did. Yeah, I'm not saying you're that guy. Yeah.
And, no.
Yeah.
Well, I'm telling them. Like,
yeah.
That's the thing. You look like a fucking buffoon when you put stuff out there and then it doesn't happen.
You do.
You know, keep that to yourself. Keep that grind. You know, it's a lot better to come out and say, hey, starting a new business. Here it is.
Yep.
Boom. And, you know, that's just, you know, build your clout, so to speak, you know, instead of saying, oh, he's tried. Because I've been that guy too. I've said, oh, I'm going to do this. Oh, I'm going to do this. And that's important, but keep that to yourself. You know, have those ideas. It's important to have ideas and to really just not have a barrier on what you're capable of, but keep it to yourself.
Yeah, it's just such a fine line. I mean, there's like, you know, I've got a close group of friends that like, you know, what do you think about this? Or, you know, we'll bounce ideas back and forth. Or I've got a publicist now, and we had a business meeting last Sunday, I think, and we talked about like, okay, what's this look like for this year? Like, what kind of money do we have for this? What could we make happen here? What's next on the agenda? And I think asking questions and getting answers is important. But I guess what I mean is like for the folks that are out there saying I'm gonna this and like doing it with the intent to impress, it's not working. You know, it's not working.
Right.
And I hate seeing that from people, man. I hate it because it's like, dude, it's painful to watch. One, you're like, dude, nobody here is buying that shit.
Right.
Nobody's buying that shit. And then on top of that, you're like, are you like, do you think this is going to happen, or are you like delusional? Like, you know what I mean? And like, I try to get behind their mindset, and it sucks to see that. It's be truthful to yourself and put your, you know, when you say that you're going to do something, you do it. That was one thing I learned from my grandpa when I was a dumbass kid, honestly.
Right.
But he told me, he's like, you know, when you say you're going to do something, it needs to be done.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of weight to be carried there, and it's a huge overlooked thing now, especially in our society. Of everyone's they're going to be a YouTuber. And this is, this just from my perspective. I don't know drilling or anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But just the things that I see every day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah, not interested.
Right. Well, I mean, I think this would be, it's hard to plan stuff out.
Sure.
Even
Shit
day to
happens.
day.
Yeah.
But, this would be a fun thing to do, coming up on the new year.
Yeah.
Just, sitting here and having a discussion and whatnot on what we're doing, how we're being positive, how
Yeah.
we're influencing people. That'd be something I'd be interested to do.
Mhm.
And, kind of just, show them, hey, we did
Yeah.
this, we made it possible,
Yeah.
and whatnot. So if you would be down with that, I'd be down with
Yeah.
that. And we could kind of recap, the cool things that we've done for the year or whatnot, and the influences that we've had. And, I guess in more of a closing, because I don't think we need to beat the horse dead and,
Right.
get everybody all too amped up to be great. But I really hope everybody out there has a very positive year coming up.
Yeah. Yep.
But here's the thing. Stop setting your goals for a year. Set your goals for a lifetime.
Mhm.
Change now, because those goals are going to mold. They're going to change. They're going to change
Yep.
over time. Be the best you can be right now, and don't in 3 months be like, man, I'm done with
good.
that.
Yeah.
No, if you're going to set something, set it. Be about it. Don't go back on it. You will be pleasantly surprised at how great you can become and the amazing things in life that can happen.
And how good you feel.
Absolutely. The positivity, and just because even last year I was a mess and just super negative and whatnot. And, but I was getting my ass handed to me left and right every day.
Yeah.
And, I pushed through. Yeah. And I'm not saying that next year's not going to kick my ass just as bad, but, I'm not stopping.
Right.
You're not going to see me stop. You won't hear from me. I won't be on social media or whatnot posting or anything. But when I come back here in a year, I plan to bring some booty and say, this is what I've done.
Yep.
This is what you could do.
Yep.
And, this is my little step in saying that you guys have more inside of you than you know. And instead of posting about it, be about it.
Holla.
Because it doesn't matter about the clout. It matters what you're doing in your life.
Yeah.
So fuck what people think you're doing. Go do it.
Yeah. Let's just close it with that. That's damn good. I like that.
That's good.
Holla. Well, before we jump off here, I'd like to thank all the sponsors. Warren County Creations. They make cool things like that gator head right there.
Oh, nice.
They make the big deer heads with the racks and all
Very
the rebar
cool.
and shit. Yeah, they're working on some dragonflies right now. And the upcoming year is going to be filled full of giveaways.
Ooh.
Yeah, holla. So I'm working on one for January, February. I'd like to do one for Warren County Creations in the near future as well. So it might be something that's coming up. And First Financial, my bank sponsored this podcast.
Nice.
That made me feel really good.
That's
Holla First Financial Bank. I've had that bank
got
since
it in the bank.
I was very happy to work that deal out with them, and it feels good to have your bank behind you.
Absolutely.
Pizza King, they've helped me prank my friends time and time
Very
again.
nice.
Made the pizza down there with blazing buffalo sauce. Shut the water off to the
Spicy.
house. Shut the water off. Told them I forgot to pay the bill. Made everyone eat that shit. So thank you, Pizza King, man. The BP in Williamsport, everyone that knows me knows I drive clear out of my way to go to that gas station. It's the best one in town, and it's not even in this town. It is in Williamsport, and I go there every time, and I ain't stopping. And Cinesol's Garage, man, that's been they've been a big help. They've helped out a lot, and they do a lot for the community. And a good friend of mine, Derek Allen, works there, and I love that man, so that's a big plus as well.
Very nice.
And lastly, it looks like I'm going to be partnering up, and this is going to be probably a more intense partnership, but with Logan Leaf. They do make really nice CBD products. It's all natural, and it's not that rebranded shit.
Were you going to pull up that message again?
Yeah, good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. glad you're here. But no, so they make great things, and it's all legit. So it's not like when you go to the gas station and you buy a thing of CBD, if it's like from some shithole gas station, more often than not, it's like rebranded. So it's something that they bought. Sometimes people will even dilute it down. I've looked into this a little bit, and they kind of package it off as their own or whatever. Logan Leaf is not that. They're a small company, but they are very legit. And I'm actually working on getting the guy out here, and I want to do a podcast with him because I'm actually really excited about CBD products. Also, if you are wanting to get 15% off until March 1st, you can use the promo code Brandon, and it will get you that. They have things on there like CBD oil. They have CBD like gummy bears, things like that. They're working on. It's not official yet. I don't think. I'm not even sure if I can say this, to be honest. Sorry, sorry guys, but I know for sure that in the works are the espresso things, and that's what I'm wanting to do a giveaway of. And they're just overall, they're a really good company to work with, and you can get, like I said, 15% off all of it. Use the promo code Brandon, and it will get you that. And I think that's it, man. So thank everybody. Thank you for coming, man.
Yeah,
I really
appreciate it. It's an honor.
Absolutely, man. And I will see you all. Actually, the next podcast has been well received. I'm bringing my dad back on here, Sean Briles. I will see you Thursday. And to everybody else, man, thank you all for watching, and I will see you soon.